Welcome to this episode of the Thinking Big podcast. Today's topic is living healthy, happy, and free with Dijana Llugolli.
Welcome to the Thinking Big podcast with Sean Osborne, the show helping you think bigger into your life and potential. Sean believes by equipping you with the tools, strategies, and philosophies required to be successful in all aspects of your life, you can achieve anything you believe in. Empowering our own growth makes a deeply positive and lasting impact on our lives, community, and our world. Now, here's Sean.
Now, when Dijana is not making her vegetarian Swedish meatballs, she can be found coaching clients in 21 different countries. And Dijana, she is a ball of charisma and high energy, and her expertise has allowed her to impact and help hundreds of online entrepreneurs to launch and scale their online business, which is so important right now. And Dijana is best known for her goal setting, business planning, and digital strategies. And as a matter of fact, we just got off of a Tony Robbins mastermind call a few minutes ago, and we are both just pumped up. And I wanted to invite her onto the show. So let's get into this interview with my friend Dijana Llugolli. So what got you into working with Tony Robbins?
So it was more about I was 1 week before they opened. So basically, two years now, I was working primarily online. So everything we built business which serves people from 21 countries, which is pretty amazing. We had 100 plus students and clients, which is unbelievable, really amazing. But what I crave, as extroverted as I am, was that presence with people, face to face.
Right.
And who else to learn from? Who else better is in when it comes to workshops and seminars and training in person than Tony and Dean, right?
Yeah.
And 1 week prior to their first training, I was at this Millionaire Mind Intensive by T. Harv Eker.
I love that. Is a fantastic book, by the way.
Yes. And we were on this 3-day seminar, and I was they were selling this program, and I was and there was Tony Robbins, so he's also part of Success Resource, and there was his billboard,
right?
And there was T. Harv Eker's billboard, and I was should I go with this program or should I go with Tony? And there was just some voice that said, you know what, just go with KBB. It was that intuition. And I said, you know what, it's now or never, really. So I've been following Tony for a while. And I've been in Dean's, I'm one of the team members in his mastermind, the Underdog Advantage mastermind.
Right.
So it was, I've been in the shadows of the Dean as well.
Oh yeah.
I love learning from. So Tony was, just the cherry on the top. So
yeah. So, and I don't think people realize how important having masterminds is. Having that group of people that can support you, that can call you on your crap and hold you accountable. That is such an important thing to have. And, that's really what a mastermind, for me at least, that's what a mastermind is it, it's someplace that's going to hold me accountable and it's going to drive me and it's going to call me out when I'm not doing my, when I'm not doing my stuff.
Absolutely. 100%.
So on the T. Harv, so when you went to that, was that his intensive? I was looking at trying to get to that. Oh, I would say, I don't think he has anything this year at all in the U.S. I was actually trying to look into that, and he has absolutely nothing this year for the U.S. It was all overseas.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they have. So they have I missed it 2 years ago in Stockholm, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna go. This is, and actually I met a coach who is in another program. And she said, you know what, should we go? And I said, yes, absolutely, we should go to this. We'll see. And then another girl said, you know what, they're gonna sell you so much. They sell like crazy. And I was like, yes, yes, let's go. That's about money mindset.
That's right.
um,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
that
And I was like,
yeah,
don't be afraid to be sold if you feel that you need to
right.
invest in yourself, like and then
Yeah.
the other girl said, we will at least learn how not to be sold.
That's and what blows me away is, that's, a mindset that a lot of people have is, yeah, I don't wanna go to a conference or I don't wanna go to this because all they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna sell you. But one thing I tell people is, yes, but you can get something that took them 20 years to develop and buy it for
It's so
pennies.
crazy how
Yeah.
people think. It's still like, in this one group that we are in, and I was listening to, no, not listening, like really reading the comments where someone said, they take you to this 2 hour live training, and they're trying to sell you a $2,000 course. And I was like, what? Is this really happening? And then it's like, are people actually discussing this? You have a choice. You
Yeah.
made a choice to be on that training,
Yeah.
to be taught by some of the like giants in this industry. And now you're complaining because they are trying to sell you something. How do you think they got where they are? Like,
Yes.
seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get this. Like, and I guess like we will always have those trolls. But it's just like, I don't even want to go into this conversation, but there are like people who literally, they wouldn't move because they think that someone will hurt them, or someone will do them disadvantage.
Right.
Like, you have a decision. You decide. Will you move the needle, or you will watch someone else move the needle? Like,
That's
that's the
right.
choice.
Yeah. That is a choice. So, one of the things that Tony teaches in this particular program is, finding what your superpower is. What do you have that other people really want to have? And what is your superpower?
That's a great question. So I always believe that my superpower is like to be able, and as a mom, right? So literally like holding three corners of the house. I always believe that multitasking is my superpower, right?
Right.
And I was so wrong. When I discovered and started to research everything about the focus and how to like really have this tunnel vision, I got blown away by studies that show that actually you're hurting your brain by being like so distracted and like having multiple tabs open, right? And I'm really like a lifelong student, like you are probably. Like, we are so like eager to learn.
Yeah.
And I got obsessed with this material, and I got to study how to actually be better at focus. And during these studies and during like coaching my clients, I actually realized that my superpower is to be a visionary, and not just to be visionary for myself and to create this tunnel vision and to really like immerse myself into one thing, but also see what other people have as their superpower
Right.
and see their visions. And this like really makes me thrive. Like, I love seeing people's vision and what they are capable of, like their greatness, and really push them to that like um limitless, I would say. So yeah, I would say my superpower is definitely seeing other people's greatness.
Yeah, mine. I think my superpower is sarcasm. That's the number one thing I. That's the number one thing I have. So
So
being
great.
being a coach and stuff. One of the things that was one of the hardest things for me was being able to effectively set goals and achieve goals. And I know, from my coaches, that's one of the biggest things that I had to really, from a success standpoint, had to get through is learning how to, set goals and learning how to plan my day and plan my month. And I am not the person that likes to be, everything lists. I'm not a list person. I'm just give me the big picture. I don't need all the detail.
Mm,
Just give me the big picture. But having to go back and do all that stuff from, I could manifest stuff. I could dream the stuff, but actually setting the goals was something that was probably one of the hardest things for me. And getting with a coach was,
mm.
probably one of the best things I did for goal setting was getting with a coach. What do you think is the biggest thing that holds people back from achieving what they want to achieve in life? Whether it's to me, whether it's business, whether it's family, whatever it is, what do you think is holding people back the most?
Their mind. Absolutely. They're too much like in their mind and not in their heart. I think that everyone, you and me, we breathe right now. And everyone who is listening to this show, you have the gift that breath is your biggest gift. If you're on this planet, that means that you have a big gift, big mission to serve and purpose to this world. And I think that a lot of people, they just overcomplicate the stuff, and they are too much in their mind and not in their heart, right? Because
Right.
if yes, there will always be some kind of fear or concern or worries, like most of the times is like, if I want to do this, what will people say? If i if i want to do this, will people judge me? Will people hate me? What will people think of me? Right? It's
Right.
always that voice that stops you. And if we would take away all these voices in our head, we would literally be limitless. Because it's like, you know, I believe that everyone everyone has superpowers, right?
Yeah.
Instead of using those superpowers and focusing on what you can actually achieve and contribute to this world, we are constantly worrying about how I'm gonna look like, or how I'm gonna what are the other people will think about me. So I think that really, like, what's preventing other people is just themselves. Like,
Yeah.
you only you are your only limit.
Yeah, and part of that's, part of that is, our subconscious mind, and it's, really programmed into us, and you have to kind of go in and really evaluate why you do some of that. But yeah, I think everybody has infinite potential. I mean, I think that's, I'm not sure if you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich. There's tons of stuff
Yes.
out there, but I mean, it's all about your mind and your mindset on what you can do and what you can achieve.
I would like really recommend to listeners, and even to you, Sean, what I came across like probably a year, or year and a half ago. Uh, Mike Dooley, he's author of several books, and one of his books is Limitless Possibilities. It's an amazing book that talks about what you just said. Our thoughts become our reality. What we think is what we are actually become.
Right.
And he talks about how your thinking gets you into the feeling, and what you feel then you act upon,
Yep.
and eventually, like, what you do is it's creation of your result.
Yep. That is
And
100%.
whatever you like want to achieve, whatever you desire to be, do, and have, is in your reach right now, right here. If you just change the thoughts around how you want to pursue your dreams.
Right.
um, so it's really like we are conditioning ourselves all of the time.
Right. And that's, I mean, we do operate off of a conditioned mind. And, the way we see things is not the way everyone else sees it. And, if we want to change, for me, if you want to change your results, you got to change your habits, and you got to change your conditioned mind to see these other opportunities and see these other, potentials that you have in your life.
Yes, this is so good, because I just remember the quote from that MMI, from Millionaire Mind Intensive. Is like the speaker said, "Don't believe anything what I say, but don't believe anything what you say to yourself either."
That
Because we
yeah. And that's more important. Don't believe a word you say, because I'm telling you, your subconscious is a conniving little SOB, and it will trick you into anything.
all of the time, like, really,
Yeah, that's
it's crazy how we it's just crazy, and we could go into this to these stories. How I'm brought up. So I grew up and I was born in Slovenia. So I'm not sure if you know where Slovenia is. It's a former Yugoslavia, and I was brought by, like, my parents. They did the best they could, the best they thought it was good for me, for my siblings. But they were always saying to me, and we are in this KBB, it's also like we are reinventing the educational system and
Right.
everything. They always told me, you need to study hard, right? We all heard that story.
Oh, yeah.
And you need to work hard, right? And I believed them. And I was such a nerd. Like, and I am a middle child, probably had this middle child syndrome as well. So I needed to stand out. And I would get all the books. I would have the best grades. I would always overperform. And I was always that overachiever, like all of the time. Till I got to the point where I said, you know what? It has to be a different way. And it's not just like traditional way of
Right.
being, doing, and having. There has to be another way. And like, still now, I am thankful to my parents that they got me where I am. But I want to teach my kids, and I want to be that role model that really shows them that whatever they desire, they need to claim it, they need to own it, and they need to go for it. It's not me who will tell them, you should do or be, or have this.
Right.
You should go for it, whatever you desire. So it's basically like, when I got my master's, I was thinking, like, I'm so proud I have this degree. You know what, Sean? This master's degree doesn't serve me anything.
No.
Like, seriously, like, past 5 years working like
Yeah.
within personal development
Yeah.
got me so much more
Yeah.
than the actual, like, I don't know, 13 plus years in a traditional and education. So
Well, I mean, the thing is,
we are reinventing.
yeah, and you can never be any more than you are. So if we're not growing personally, it doesn't matter what education we have, because you're never gonna outgrow who you really are.
100%.
Yeah, that is and that brings up a God. There was another book, I'm trying to think of it. It was Maxwell Maltz. It was another mindset book. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
Um, oh my goodness.
ah,
Um, psy- psycho,
yeah,
yeah,
Psycho-Cybernetics. Yes. Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
amazing book,
Yeah,
amazing book.
that was another great book. Yeah,
Oh
that
my God. Like, and if you think that he's not even from that side of profession,
right.
and like, oh my God, such a great book. You guys, grab that book. It will change your life.
Yes, it
Seriously.
is a phenomenal book. And and it's you'd mentioned quotes. One of the things I absolutely love about quotes. So I normally every day on my Instagram page, I normally post a quote and kind of what it means and stuff. But to me, to take a train of thought, or to take something that means something and drive it down into a small, one sentence quote is huge. And it's like you get some of these fantastic quotes from all of these amazing minds throughout the world. And so I absolutely love the quotes that uh, from all of these different books. I mean, it drives it down into a small bite-sized thing, but if you dig into them, boy, they mean so much.
Mm, I love quotes.
What's one of your favorite quotes? I can tell you mine. So one of my favorite quotes is from another one of my mentors. I'm also with the John Maxwell team, but one of the ones that John says is, "You are either at the table or on the menu," and that's
Oh,
you're either growing or you're dying. There's no such thing as in between. It's you're either at the table eating, or you're the one being eaten. So that's one of my favorite quotes from John.
I love this quote. I really love this quote. So one of my favorites is that I literally live by that. And like, being a coach for primarily female entrepreneurs, this will sound a little bit female-ish, but I'm gonna go with it. It's quote by Erin Hansen, and it literally says, "What if I fall? But oh my darling, what if you fly?"
Yes, that's a great quote. That is a
Yes,
fantastic quote. Yep.
yes, it's like, just go for it. the parachute will open eventually.
So you were and you actually so you work with people throughout the world. You don't just work in Sweden, right?
Hmm. Yes, yes. So 21 countries now. We
Oh,
closed like two
man.
weeks ago. We closed Dubai, so pretty exciting.
Ooh, Dubai, that's nice. Yeah, so
Yeah.
now I do quite a bit of traveling, but I've never been to Sweden, and, the closest thing I've been to is IKEA, and that's not that's now I've gotta ask this. Have you ever had the Swedish meatballs at IKEA?
Yes, of course. But that's because I'm not Swedish.
How bad are they?
Um,
That's the only thing
so
I
I
have.
would say, well, now when we actually like, we love vegan meatballs that we prepare.
Mhm.
So I would say IKEA's meatballs comparing to that, they're on four.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
um, but everyone needs to try their meatballs. That's like, and like mashed potatoes and meatballs, that's pretty much Swedish.
So what is your favorite food?
Oh, good one. Oh, a good salad. A good, really like greenies. A good salad is my favorite
N
dish.
Now how is so I can tell you that the food supply, and I don't wanna say food supply, but the food culture here in the US has been it has gone to almost 100% processed foods. It's very not a lot of raw foods. I mean, you do have people, but I mean, as a culture, we've really gone to
Mhm.
the processed food side. How has it been there? Is it still pretty natural, or has it been
Yeah, Swedes
westernized?
are pretty healthy when it comes to food. Like there's like, I love the way they actually think about the food and how they are proud about their food. Um, so I would say that, and I also come from my mom was really really amazing cook. So I learned to actually cook when I was really a teenager. So everything from the ground. We make our like really the cooking is something that I'm very passionate about. It's not something that I would do for a living, but I'm very passionate about cooking and making like really doing the food that blesses your body.
Right.
Um, that I think that's where it all starts, right? We
Yeah.
need to really think about what
Yeah.
we put in
Yeah, you
ourselves,
gotta feed
right?
yourself right. And I actually think as a culture in the US, I actually see us kind of maybe it's just me, but I see us kind of moving back to the where people are more food conscious on what they're
Mm.
eating. So luckily, I think we're kind of moving away from as much of the processed food, although it's almost impossible to get away from all of it. But I think we're as a culture, we're actually starting to move back, which is a great thing here. But
Yeah, absolutely. I think also like in coaching industry, we have so many great like wellness and health coaches that are actually educating and really informing people
right,
how they could be like, and eating healthy is again a choice, right? It's
right,
not something that is hard. It's just the way, it's a habit, right?
yep, just
Like
like in,
everything else,
yep, you gotta develop those healthy habits. Yeah,
right?
it was. I would say, oh God, maybe 10 years ago, I had lost quite a bit of weight. I got pretty big there. But so yeah, health is a huge thing for me. So
Yeah, so I go by like when we got to the health and everything. I go with three core values, and we started with the freedom, but actually like health, happiness, and freedom are my three core values. And from the beginning, I always said to my group, to my free Facebook group, healthy, happy, and free with D.
yeah,
And
yeah,
this was something that I was like so proud of. Like, this is, if you want to be healthy, happy, and free, you should join with D. Like, this was like my mantra. And it was like, what does that actually mean? Healthy for me means like really taking care of your body and your mind and your soul. Like these three things,
right,
like really looking for your mental health. I would say like we really like we talked about this, but also like yes, really taking care of your
yeah.
body. And then happiness, that's also a choice.
Yeah.
You can be grumpy. I'm not saying about like really you need to be positive about everything, but what you focus on, that expands and that grows.
It does.
If you choose to be happy, um, just think if we could create this world like 50% or 51%, like happy people going around. Every second person you would meet would be happy. Like, what that would be like amazing. And I think that more happy people, like kids are happy because they are not living in a place of fear.
Right.
And we just need to like dissect that fear out of people's
Right.
mind and everything. Like we would be so happier. And of course, freedom. We
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I do with my clients is I take them through what's called a wheel of life, because again,
Mm,
part of the wheel is your health, your finances, your relationships, your spirituality, whatever it might be, and creating a wheel of life on that, because if you don't have one of the things that the health or the relationship, or if you don't have one of those pieces, it's going to affect the other areas, no matter what. So yeah, I think
true.
healthy is, if you're not, if you are not healthy at all, and you don't think that that's not affecting all other areas of your life,
Mm,
you're crazy. And vice versa.
yes.
I mean, you got to have kind of a balance between everything.
Absolutely. And this is so good because I think that a lot of people think that when you see the wheel of life, oh, I need to work on all these areas at the same time.
Right.
If you could just focus on one thing, and that would be like health, if you could get that health to a 10,
Right.
everything would move.
Yep.
And people are so like, I need to work on relationship and health. Like, do you get it that when you work within and inward on your health and your happiness, everything will change. Everything around you will move.
Right.
Your relationship will improve. Your finances will improve. We say oftentimes, like, yes, money will make you happy. I say it's opposite. Happiness is what creates money.
Yes.
Because if you're happy, your clients are happy, and there's more cha-ching.
Right.
And everything moves when you start with yourself and with your health and with your
Yeah,
happiness.
and Tony was actually just talking about that. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing more on what you have or what you don't have?
Have,
Yeah, and most
yes.
most people focus on what they don't have yet. And yeah, that
Mm,
goes right in line with what we were just listening with Tony on. But
yeah. And being intentional. Yes. I think that it's also part of some of the work that I do is like really being intentional. Yes, we all have desires, but gratitude is like, oh my God, if you guys listening to this and you're thinking like, oh, there she goes again and talking about gratitude, this is a number one thing that is actually preventing you to manifest things in your life.
yep,
Stop focusing on that, on the lack, and start focusing on what you already have.
yeah, yeah,
Like, seriously, you guys, that we have so much abundance around ourselves that we just get distracted and thinking about this and that. Focus on you and what is already in your circle.
right.
You will attract so much more of that.
But you've got to get in the habit of being grateful. One of the things that God, I'm not sure if it was Tony or someone, but waking up every morning, and part of my my actual planner that I use has three gratitudes every morning. I think something like
Mhm.
that is so important, whether you have it in a planner, whether you have it on a, but first thing, wake up and pick three things to be grateful for. Be that one, that you woke up, that you're healthy, that you're
Mhm.
whatever it is. But yeah, first thing in the morning, be grateful. I mean, that will get your day started off right.
And small things like, I think there's a pro tip for you guys that want to like really wake up and seize the day. Like when you wake up for 17 seconds, that's actually a study. For 17 seconds, that's like seems like a small time amount of time, but try to think like 17 seconds about everything that you have, and like just repeat like, I'm grateful for my body, for my hands, for my dog, like everything for 17 seconds. And this is how you will actually trick your brain to think about the positive stuff instead, what you already have. And this will literally, like, if you create this habit and repeat for, like, let's say 21 days, you will see the improvement in your habits, improvement in your health.
Right.
Amazing stuff will happen to you. So 17 seconds, that's a study by Abraham Hicks. They actually talk about this. And like, this literally is the basics of manifestation.
Right. What about 16? What if I did 16, would I be okay?
Go with 34.
34.
Let's
Okay.
double that.
Great. So now, one of the things that for the audience is, you've got this fantastic what you call the 1 million vision planner that you're giving the audience giving to our audience to download and to use, and that's fantastic. Can you tell me a little bit about that, about the vision planner?
Yes. Yeah, so Vision Planner is basically like a roadmap for, if you're a consultant or a coach, and any like service provider. This is actually your roadmap for next 12 months, how to get to that 1 million, which is basically like, a lot of people like think, oh my God, 1 million, that sounds so scary. I break it down in a small bite sizes, and also like, you can literally play with 1 million, you can play with 100,000 or 10,000 even, whatever. But the 1 million should be always a focus, right?
Right.
Because here's the thing, like, people, what's the worst thing that can happen if you focus on 1 million and you don't achieve it? You'll achieve
800,000.
like, right?
That's the
Right?
thing. Is like, I would rather strive for 1 million and reach 800,000 than strive for 500,000 and make it
Yeah,
any day.
right?
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the point. It's not that you should be afraid, like, you be afraid of that 1 million. Be afraid of the goals that are actually below your possibilities, right?
Right.
We always think like, yes, this is possible, 100,000. Yeah, this is possible. Absolutely. But go for big. Go for what makes you like really scary, whether it makes you like, go for big, and that 1 million will give you like, not maybe 1 million in 12 months, but maybe in 13.
Right.
But you will actually move yourself to get out there and to do the things that will eventually reach that 1 million.
Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes and in everything that gets sent out. So, those listening, just go to the show notes, and we're going to have a link to all of this stuff, including, the books that we talked about, and, this vision planner, and obviously to go and visit your site as well. So all that's going to be on the show notes, so those listening, when you get out of your car, uh, get home, get to work, download the show notes, and go and get this stuff. This stuff is, again, it's like the quotes. It's when you why would you not go get an asset that someone has spent, years of their life, 10, 20 years of their life learning, and it's just like these things are unbelievable. So, again, I want to thank you for offering that up to the audience. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. It's my greatest pleasure. If this can reach and this can help only one person, I'm happy.
Well, again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to, get on, be on the show and be on the podcast, and to, share your knowledge and share your time with everybody. It's I'm telling you, that's the one thing that I like doing a podcast more than anything, is I get to talk to the most amazing people around the world. So this is an absolute joy for me as well. So again, thank you very much.
I appreciate you and thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, absolutely.